The controversy concerning, that transaction or conversation between Mr. Femi Otedola and Farouk Lawan. Well, of course, you might have heard about this purported conversation between both parties, which Channels Television is in possession of and has been aired for some time. But we'll bring it again to you now, and we'll take it from there.
Yes, I don't bring it to my house.
Okay, you take it to your house?
No, I don't want to bring it to my house. It's a lot of money.
Yes. So where? Because I'm rushing to the airport now.
Yeah, they're at the airport in the aircraft.
And before they can come over now, unless I send somebody to the airport, I was coming. I can't. By the time they come, I should be in the chambers. I have a lot of things to do myself.
Is there anybody you trust I can give it to, or maybe I should maybe I should postpone my China till tomorrow?
No, it's okay. I would arrange with someone. Let me give you his number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
His number is 080.
Hold on. 080.
36. 51. 33. 55.
What's his name?
Yeah, TJ.
Sorry?
TJ.
TJ.
No, TJ. TJ.
Okay.
Yeah, TJ.
So I'll give him the balance. That's
Okay.
$2.5 million, yeah?
That's right. Hold on. Just hold on. I'm calling him to be sure he's finished.
What we saw on Channel Television was nothing but a caricature, a very infantile, very puerile, highly edited, terribly doctored audio statement purporting to be the voices of Mr. Femi Otedola and Mr. Farouk Lawan. The first point I therefore want to make on behalf of Mr. Farouk Lawan, which he instructed me to make, is that our challenge remains. And the challenge is that either Mr. Femi Otedola or the SSS or the police should produce the full, unedited and undoctored audio visual video of his encounter with Mr. Femi Otedola.
There you have it. We're going to take it from there now, as we're joined by Babatunde Ogala, who is a former member of the Lagos State House of Assembly, and he chaired the Judicial Committee while he was there. Thank you for coming on this morning.
It's my pleasure. Good morning.
Well, it's interesting, this perspective that seems to be making the rounds now, because statements coming from police, from all the parties, leaves a lot of people worried. But having listened to this one and then the reaction of the lawyer, what's your thoughts?
Well, quickly, I wonder why the police is just involved in this theater of absurdity. Because that's what I'll call it. I listened to the tape yesterday, I think for 90 seconds. And I do believe it's a long conversation. I first wondered from whose custody Channel got it. Who released it? And who edited it? Was it Channel's? Or that is what was released to it? If, like it is said, and please let me make this clear, both Farouk and Otedola, in my eyes, have lost total credibility.
Why?
From all what we see. Whoever is telling the truth and whoever is lying, it is obvious that both of them were involved in some criminal action.
Yeah, but what about if...
Either one was offered
or
one demanded. And if one demanded, one gave. If one offered, the other took.
What about those who say, to the extent that the police has not made any statement about this, I mean, the lawyer they're demanding, let them publish the full transaction between both parties?
That's why I say it's becoming some macabre dance. And the police, in my view, is acting very responsibly in the whole of this. I do not know if this tape came from the police. Because police is the only body that should, at this time, have custody of their documents for purpose of prosecution. And I ask the question, why can't we prosecute somebody?
Can we?
Why all this drama? Put Farouk in the dock, or put Otedola in the dock, and let the law take its course. Look, this is court of public opinion. Yes, they've lost credibility in our eyes. Yes, we've given moral judgments. And thereafter, they walk away as free men.
You think they are interested in this court of public opinion?
Look, that is what if we are not interested. All this for me is a diversion from the main issues. Let the police do its work.
Let's bask in the euphoria of this diversion for a moment. But again,
at whose expense? At the expense of Nigerians.
Initially,
1.4 trillion.
I understand you quite.
That's what we're talking about
frankly.
Here.
But again,
not
we were told as a nation,
96 million naira.
Mr. Ogala, we were told as a nation that they had a video.
Yes.
But now what we have is an audio.
No, and let me quickly
say, if you had seen a video, would that have amounted to any kind of difference?
Who has even told us, other than Femi Otedola, that he has a video? Only Femi has said that. The police has not said that anywhere. The SSI has not said that anywhere. I stand to be corrected. The police has not even issued any statement to say Femi submitted audio or video to us. All we get are, like you journalists will say, our sources. It's never been official. Everything we have read so far that has transpired at the police headquarters, none is official. Even behind closed doors in the House of Reps is unofficial. So let them come out with official. Look, it's only proper for the police to even brief the nation on the level of how far it has gone with this investigation on such a matter that the whole, out of 150 million Nigerians, I'm sure no fewer than 100 know about this matter. The police should do the responsible thing. The IG has set up a task force of very high-ranking police officers, I think headed by Commissioner or Deputy Commissioner of Police. So why can't you even give us a brief and let us not just indulge in speculations like Chief Mike Ozekome just said, doctor tapes, infantile. Who is saying the truth? Up to the point where you say a call came through, on my way to the airport and all that. What did you discuss before then and thereafter?
Sir, is it possible for us to focus on, excuse me, what we already know? Before now, what we have heard or what we have is conversations that we have seen from the pages of newspapers.
Yeah.
So far, so good. Not one electronic broadcasting station or electronic media station has been able to give us anything on tape or audio, be it an interview of these people or, any admission or omission from them as well, or denials, as it were. This is the first concrete thing that we have, or let's say purported concrete thing, because some people are beginning to say that this could be doctored or this is doctored.
Yes.
But what does this tell you? This conversation, what does it do for you in terms of what you already have read about the scandal?
Well, see, from what I've listened to, I can only but be cautious. Like I've said, where is it coming from?
Is the source very important to you?
Of course.
Why?
I am a lawyer, for crying out loud.
Okay.
And what we are talking about here, look, let's take away the moral question. I have condemned that. Both have no integrity in my eyes. Morally speaking, what they have done thus far is despicable. But now, the police is involved. It's criminal now. Why would you, either Femi as a star witness or the police as investigator, be gradually destroying evidence? You heard Chief Mike Ozekome. You heard what he just said.
How is this destruction of evidence?
How are you going to tender this in court? How are you going to use this for prosecution?
That is assuming...
Whose custody is it?
No,
who released
assuming that is what they intend using.
Assuming. It cannot be based on assumptions. Assuming it is authentic. Yes, the voice, I don't know Femi Otedola's voice, so I cannot say that is his voice or not his voice. But the voice sounded very much like Farouk Lawan's voice. Very much so. So that's why we say assuming. Because where is it coming from? I don't know China's source. I saw it on channels yesterday when you streamed it. Some have transcribed it. I've gotten it on BlackBerry. It's all over the place. It's all over. So who released it to BlackBerry? Who did?
No, the thing is this. I mean, let's also look at the content, or aside the source. Is it also possible for us to analyze, say, the content of the conversation in such a way that it either confirms to us what we already have read, or it doesn't? Because here we are. It's a little curious that the lawyer of Mr. Farouk Lawan is denying this and saying that it is doctored. Because from what we have heard so far, Mr. Farouk Lawan has not denied taking money. He says, from what we have read, let me be very specific.
Exactly.
From what we have read, he has not denied taking money. In fact, from what we hear, they say that he says he did not take a bribe. He took money.
Yes.
So he does not deny having taken
no doubt
exactly some money.
No doubt.
Now this conversation seems to be confirming the fact that he called to ask for a balance.
Seems to, you said.
Exactly, seems to. $2.5 million, at least we heard
that. Which was pronounced by 2.5 million, right?
Yes.
So, okay, I think he said, okay.
He said right.
Right. You know, you see, look, I'm just being careful. From what we have, I've said, court of public opinion. Look, I am more interested in, at this point, in having people punished.
But don't you find it curious that Farouk Lawan's lawyer is saying this could be doctored, or this is doctored?
I would say the same if I'm his lawyer. I will say the same. He has a duty.
So what exactly isn't doctored? That's a question. I mean, at what point will we begin to admit that there was some conversation between the two people?
Let them arraign Farouk or Femi or whoever has to be arraigned in court, and let this court decide this matter. Why this court of public? Why this drama?
You know, I've been thinking this cashless, you know, someone asked this cashless policy. We'll talk about,
no,
and I'm coming to, sorry, and we're talking about maybe $2.5 million here. That is almost 400 million naira. Where on earth would someone who is a four-time representative in the House be expecting Mr. Otedola to bring about 400 million naira or 2.5 million in cash to him? That is why some are saying that maybe truly he was also playing along to get him.
You see, it's all like
to give the bribe.
Yeah. Perhaps. He has said that. He has said he also has a counter sting. Femi said it was a sting operation. In my view, it is not. It is far from it. He should have cut him red-handed. Then, now, tapes. We have him on video. Now, like you said, audio. But audio, well, very well, that's a telephone conversation. It can only come through audio. Telephone conversation cannot be video. Because people cannot be in front of each other and be talking on phone. It can only be audio. But where the money came from is the question. Where did even $96,620,000 come from? You see, there are a lot of issues. What is our currency policy in the country? Can anybody indeed keep such volume of cash? If so, from what bank was it withdrawn? At what point? There are too many dimensions. See, I mean, there are too many dimensions.
Can we also throw this one in? Can we also throw this in that they should have released the conversation from the beginning, from the first hello, so that it can add up to all of this?
Not if it is indeed video. This is audio. This is telephone. They said there is video.
Video and audio.
There is audio. From the first contact, Farouk has said, or is reported to have said, that Femi visited him first in the hotel, Protea Asokoro, where he had run away from home and he persistently called him and then brought him some documents. That is his own account. So from the first, there must be a first contact. This is after, from what we hear now, after 500,000 had purportedly been delivered. They were talking about balance. But there must have been a process of negotiation. He demanded 3 million. The fact that you said 2.5 million, right, does not mean he demanded.
Okay, but
it could also be at that point that you offered. Of course, if you say, oh, maybe we're having a discussion, you say, Mr. Ogala, your legal fees, 1 million, right? How if it's okay by me, I could well say, okay. It does not mean I've demanded. I could have demanded less, and may not even have discussed fees at that point. 2.5 million could even be the starting point, because we are assuming that it's 2.5 out of 3 because 500 has been collected. But from what we heard, it did not say, none of them say is the balance.
Okay, but
None.
If we take our mind back to even before it got strong in public that there was a recording.
Yes.
I mean, I think it was at the initial stage before it even got
No,
strong.
That was from day one.
From day one.
That was
but
in the public domain.
They had also said that whatever video that is being circulated at the time,
Yes, so
was a caricature.
So Farouk said
At that time.
He said he heard that there are some video caricature of him and all of that. He has even denied the laughable story that he stuffed dollars in his cap, and you know
that they can't. That can't.
You know, I mean, some people call it dollar cap, dollar thinking, all manner of jokes on the social media. You know, but I think that was ridiculous. I mean, it was an attempt to just ridicule him.
But in spite of all that seems to be going on, let me read text of statements that were published over the weekend in various media. The police force, quoting some of them now, which conducted preliminary investigation on the matter last week, handed over the case file to the acting chairman of ICPC, Mr. Ikbonta. Apart from the case file, the police reportedly handed over copies of the videotapes which allegedly captured Mr. Lawan collecting the controversial $500,000 from Mr. Otedola. So the ball is in the court of the ICPC now. So the police has hands off this matter. ICPC,
so they say.
So they say.
So they say. But I ask the question, why ICPC? Why ICPC?
Isn't this a public official?
Why
isn't the ICPC who takes it over?
Look, is Hembe not a public official? Is he not being prosecuted in regular courts?
By the EFCC?
Yes, what says the police cannot prosecute anywhere?
So are you suspecting some sort of...
why?
What?
Look, why ICPC? So ICPC will now still take it to the courts. Why not the Office of the Attorney General?
Why the Office of the Attorney General?
Because that's the chief officer of the Federation, where you have a prosecuting team. Why not, indeed, the police file the action? Nothing says the police cannot start the action themselves. If they do not have the legal capacity to do it, hire private prosecutors. And I'm sure they will even get volunteers. Why ICPC? Why all this bureaucracy and all of that? It's taking too long.
If they get private
We've been on this public, I mean, why the matter has been, the audio has been handed over to ICPC, is now in the public domain. How did it get there? Is it from Femi? Is it from the police?
Well, if it's
the police,
good.
Why did they do that? If it's from Femi, what is the intention? Why are you trying to tamper or ridicule evidence in a matter that is about
if it were to be
court?
from Femi, what should he have done?
If Femi has, as a claim, has made a report to the police about the conduct of Farouk, let the law take its course.
Should he have
This has been
video,
this audio has been on TV now. How do you want to tender this before the courts in the prosecution of Farouk Lawan? How do they want to go about it? The lawyer already spoke.
No, but this is part of it. So I'm not sure they just tender.
When you bring
they can't tender part.
Look, when you bring a part of a whole, you are gradually. It's a part of it. Perhaps that could have been the most critical stage, the most critical for prosecution.
Inform us, sir. Is it that when something has been tendered in the public, it cannot be used again in the court of law?
Why do you want to ridicule? Look, even the judges are watching television.
But
even the prosecutor is watching.
But what they
even
watch,
the defense counsel
it's not supposed to influence their judgments.
It's not to, but for crying out loud, we are also humans. Mike has already said, it is this, it is that. He has
but what
discredited it.
Just as you said, lawyers will be consistent with their client's position.
So why would the police not just take this thing to court? Let these things be played to the court. Let it not be that you have already put things in the public domain. Look, why do you even think judges, sometimes in courts, appeal to the press to moderate what the rights about matters before them. Why do you think these are? Judges are human. When you sometimes what you write can overwhelm a judge.
Who can fix all of this now? Now you're
No,
talking about the
for
courts,
me,
because now
for
the House of Rep has also invited Femi Otedola.
I would have thought between the House of Reps and the police, maybe the House of Reps could have tarried a while.
In their what, investigation?
Yeah. Since the matter is already before the law enforcement agencies, you could have tarried a while and let that course run. You know, I would have thought. Notice says they cannot do what they have to do.
Now, what would be the purpose of what they're doing?
No. I said notice says they would. I'm not in a position to know what the purpose. It says investigatory, because one of their members has been accused of some conduct that will constitute a breach of the rules of the House. So I would have thought, in my view, he's been placed on suspension. The police are investigating. Prosecution is about going to take place. That will tarry a while and let that play out. And then whatever comes out of the police will even be so helpful, because we also hear discordant news. Behind closed door, Farouk made some heart-shaking revelations, blah, blah, blah. Otedola said he's not going to appear before them. As it were, he's already taken them to courts, the House of Reps to courts. How do you expect him to appear before?
Okay, so based on that alone, he can't appear?
He has said.
Okay.
He has said. I'm just following a chain of events. So that one of the processes could have been stepped down for the other to take a course.
In any case, how does it work? When you are summoned, must you obey?
Well,
must you go?
Yes, by law you should. By law you should. By law you should. The law permits the House to
Or if
summon
on the advice of your counsel, it says
when there are matters. Of course, they cannot summon you on your private business, but on matters that concern the affairs of government.
Okay.
You could.
What is the role of public opinion here? Because, I mean, this matter has been presented to the public.
Yeah.
You know, and the public, they really want to get to the bottom of this.
Exactly.
Because this is something that affects them. What exactly is the role of public opinion here? Because you seem to be suggesting that this should be taken out of the realm of public opinion to the courts.
Mangwe, I did not say the public ought not to be informed. No. When the matter is in courts, the courts are going to be open to the public to see what is going on. If it's the House of Reps investigation, I assume we ought to be seeing what is going on and reporting. What I'm saying here is people have allegedly committed some criminal offenses. Why are we reluctant to put them before the law to punish them? If we go through public opinion, lack of integrity, they lose respect, they are diminished in your eyes and my eyes. Are they punished? It's now a moral question.
So is that when the question
morality
arises,
and all of that.
who is interested in
But what I am
justice
saying
here?
is met out punishment.
Yeah,
not
but
just to Farouk or Femi.
Wouldn't that
Indeed, to
depend?
those who have allegedly and illegally taken away our 1.4 trillion naira.
Yeah, but
Because that's a bigger issue.
That's a bigger issue.
That's a bigger issue. We are pursuing 100 million, like 6 million here.
but it's
And
equally,
that is the essence.
but it's equally
It's a
important.
diversion.
Isn't it important?
It's something to
equally?
distract. No, I say it is that the essence is to distract us from the main report. You know, it's. I mean, we understand. Look, it's not like the China that purportedly was mentioned. Some of us have heard about China long ago. Like there were several calls even from China after this discussion. We didn't know there was this tape. That there were several calls from China. It's allegation and counter-allegation.
Yeah,
That
but
he initiated, he came to my house. The other one said, no, I didn't come to my house. Once it was said that money was even collected at the airport at 4 a.m.
And now they're getting to change it.
Now it keeps changing by the minute, by the day. We don't know what comes next. We do not know what comes
But
next.
if we have opportunity of seeing a video, a clear-cut video with every face showing and every voice you can detect.
If we have a video that they will not say has been doctored, that comes from custody, where it ought to come from.
Did you just look up to see there was a video too?
Of course, there are
Because
videos.
they're not recorded.
I'm being recorded
Recording you.
even live. So this cannot be secret. So if we have such, and it's tendered in evidence, honestly, we will watch the whole thing publicly, not piecemeal. Because let me ask, this telephone discussion is one of the several. Like Mike said, somebody has doctored it. How do you disprove that?
That somebody has doctored it.
Yes, in the manner it has been presented to the public.
No, but if they say, if a party says somebody has doctored it, it means
They're
the party is privileged to the original conversation, isn't it?
I don't think there's any doubt that there were conversations. I think we've gone beyond whether there was contact, whether there were conversations, whether there was exchange of money. I think we've gone beyond that. I'm no longer thinking, I mean, we've gone beyond that.
It's based on that I have asked you, what does this video do for you? Because if we have gone beyond that,
Yes.
and this is the first concrete thing that we're getting, what does this video do? This audio do for you?
You call it concrete.
No, in terms of listening to voices.
Listening to
concerning
voices,
that matter
like
from both
I've
parties.
said, the voice, I do not know Femi Otedola's voice. It sounded like Farouk. And from what I've listened to since yesterday, they were obviously talking about exchange of something, which Femi now confirmed to be money. It was, okay, where you will meet, and all of that. It was Femi that now said $2.5 million, and he said, okay, right, or something.
Is it
Towards
possible,
the end of the discussion.
Mr. Ogala, is it
Of
also
the clip.
possible that...
Because if it had stopped there,
good.
you may not have known what they were talking about.
Exactly the point. And again, you know,
So
when
it was Femi that now, some of us have said that was where, I've even heard somebody said that confirms that it was indeed a setup. That this is what I would call putting words in Farouk's mind, in Farouk's mouth, by saying 2.5 million, right? Farouk could have, if he had not said a word, you know, that's escape.
No, but again, just
He
as
could
you
even say
said,
that was the offer.
again, like just as you said, it depends on the context. If this is part, they need to know what transpired previously.
But that is why we
Before
must have
that
the
one.
whole thing.
So,
Who say, how do we even sure this was not the starting point? Because somebody has said it was 3 million. How are we sure 2.5 was not even the offer? Because nowhere in that discussion did you say
yeah, but
the balance.
from what
He
we-
only was talking about sending something. I will be at the airport. The plane will be waiting. I have things to do in the chamber myself. Come to my house, or when I come back from China. Or is there anybody you can trust? Perhaps leading
So there
questions.
wasn't anything like
Perhaps
it.
leading questions.
There wasn't anything like a balance mentioned.
Nothing like a balance. Nothing was mentioned to suggest that something had been given.
What is the role of the third party? We're forgetting that in that conversation,
Yes.
There was a
somebody's
TJ.
name was called.
A
a certain
TJ and a phone number.
And a phone number.
Yes. Somebody you can trust, ostensibly, might believe to collect. That's what it sounded like. That is what it sounded like. I'm not in a position to confirm who TJ is, what TJ is about, and what really was.
But do you
supposed to
think
be.
it could help?
If we get the TJ,
Yeah?
I won't believe some people will have tried that number that was mentioned.
Oh yeah, a
to
lot
see
of
if it will
people
be
they're
picked.
tweeting
Of course,
about it, that they've been calling the number.
The number is shut down. Naturally so. If it's younger, you take the calls. Naturally so.
But are we missing
this
the
is-
sign?
you see,
There's a
this is
handwriting
why I'm
on the
saying.
wall.
This is why I'm saying evidence being gradually destroyed. Whoever TJ is now, that SIM card you can be sure will never be seen again.
But I mean,
God help us
in
if
terms
it
of
was
registration.
if it was registered. Don't forget that these are transactions of some 3 months back, while registration process was still on. You understand? If it was registered, and indeed in whose name it was registered,
What
if
about-
it can even be traced? Because when I go to register, look, but I put my thumbprint. I think we take photographs of it and thumbprint. Who has record of me anywhere? When I say, okay, my address, number 1, Channel Street, Ejigbo. Who confirms if there's any such street in existence? Who confirms what name I put down? my name is Maukwe Chambali. Who confirms that name exists? Well, what database do you have my photograph to be able to even locate my face? Yes, maybe for people like us who are here, we have no place to hide. Because the faces are well known.
Of the assembly,
you know, but for crying out loud, I get my big guy. I mean, if I buy a SIM card, am I likely going to go there? Am I likely going to go there? Not to talk of our very senior big men. Is Femi Otedola going to go to MTN Center on Island to register?
Well, NCC says yes.
But look, it's about having the register. I put 10 SIM cards to my clerk. Go and register them in your name. So be it.
All right,
he leaves me tomorrow and disappears.